Hello and welcome. I'm Jake Skinner, VP of Online Solutions for Governance Solutions, and one of the founding members of the Professional Director Program. I wanted to just note ahead of time here that we really appreciate you being here, but I do want to reiterate for clarity that today's session is something different than our usual Tuesday education sessions. So we're going to walk you through a whirlwind tour of what Governance Solutions and the Proder Institute does and has to offer, and hopefully shed some light on, how we can assist you. But just be aware that this is not a bit of CE. This is something separate from our usual. So with that out of the way, please let me introduce today's other host, GSI's Director of Governance Programs, Tan Crombie.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's great to see so many new faces as well as some very familiar ones. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We're looking forward to sharing all things governance solutions.
Great. Thanks for being here, Tan. And so just to start with what I've already teased, the live education sessions on Tuesday. These are really intended to keep you up to date on best practices, legislative changes, or even just the latest thinking in a variety of crucial governance areas. They do count as 30 minutes of CE time, although sometimes we run a little late. We do like to field some questions if you have any. We alternate now, so every second week is just a themed education session. Might be what to do with your audit committee, something to that effect. But we also run Governance in the Headlines once a month, which is a session just looking at some sort of governance topic, and we try to aim for practical takeaways that you can, come away from. You see the headline and it's easy to say, oh, Elon Musk is doing that again. But how can we apply it to our organization? How can we make it useful in your own governance learnings? And then we also offer once a month a podcast guest. So I just want a little sneak peek. We have Bill Cross coming up. He's a sports governance guy at Carleton University. That should be an interesting topic. And then the big get this year that Tan's been working on, David Suzuki will be joining us the following month. So I'm pretty excited about that. If you're interested, these events can always be found at the link at governancesolutions.ca/live. And I just wanted, so thank you for joining us today. We will give you a few extra little behind the curtain sneak peeks. One of the things I wanted to flag was that we do have a permanent invitation list. It's opt-in only. So usually you do have to go to govsol.ca/live and sign up there. But if you reach out to Raphael, that is Raphael Mazzattini at governancesolutions.ca, he would be happy to add you to the permanent list. So I may be underlining that for a reason. I don't know if you've ever been to one of our sessions. Sometimes we like to give away books. That was Raphael. Tan, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, just one final thought, Jake. If you do come to one of our free sessions, at the end of the session, we will send you an evaluation. So please tell us what you thought. We really welcome the feedback. And we also give you a chance to share topics that you would like to hear about. So if there's an issue that is burning for you that you want to learn more about, put it in the evaluation, send it back, and we'll do our best to schedule it into a future session. So these evaluations are really important and we really appreciate them. So I think you heard Jake emphasizing something, because frankly, that's the best part of these sessions. We love giving stuff away. So get your fingers ready, get your chat open, and you'll see that we have a new book, Board Ready. We're going to talk more about it at the end of the session. But for now, for our first giveaway, all you have to do in the chat is tell me who do you reach out to get on the permanent invitation list? Aha! Paula, I've got you first. Paula Kelly, well done. Some of you were really fast on this. Amazing.
Always a sharp one, Paula. Thank you. Okay, yeah, as Tan mentioned, we'll talk a little bit more about Board Ready and the rest of our books near the end of the session, but let's dive into a little bit more of the meat of it for the moment. We have a pretty busy fall coming up, and it's very financial focused, although we have some other offerings as well. So as a note, if you've never had experience with one of our online education events before, our online going programs or series, as we call them, we run them once a week. So the investment there is that you're going to show up for about an hour and a half once a week. They run different lengths. Basics runs 4 weeks. Financial governance for non-financial leaders runs 6 weeks. You can see the listing up here on the slides. But this fall's offerings specifically are going to hopefully partly walk you through the financial ladder. So Basics actually starts in a week. Wow, time is racing on this fall. It's designed for professionals tackling the early stages of financial literacy. Board program, as I mentioned, it gives you confidence you need to understand your organization's reports, such as your income statement and balance sheet. It's meant for board members, governance professionals, directors, managers, and business owners who want independence in understanding financial reports and the confidence to ask great questions about them. So that sort of preludes to the Financial Governance for Non-Financial Leaders Certificate Program, which starts in November 14th, and that's a 6-week one. It's intended to explain financial concepts to leaders and executives that, it's for non-accountants, as we say, but it is a little further up the ladder. So we have a quiz that we will provide a link to. So I apologize if I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but we have a quiz that will clarify where your financial level is if you're not confident about which of these programs is most appropriate for you. So level 1 or 2, basics is probably your best bet. Anything over that, Financial Governance for Non-Financial Leaders Certificate Program. The lovely thing about the Financial Governance for Non-Financial Leaders program is that we use real-world example worksheets. So you're looking at various actual cases pulled from the headlines, and looking at their actual documents to see, hey, could we have, caught the Enron problem first? That kind of thing. So it's an excellent session, a lot of really hands-on practical stuff, but you're going to come away feeling more confident in your own organization, in reading your own organization's documents. And then I also wanted to flag the not-for-profit governance certificate program, which was especially created for NFP board members and executives. It's an 8-week program, and it's focused on making a difference and building a legacy. So it covers everything from NFP director role responsibilities to capacity building to understanding your own financial statements in an NFP, which obviously you've got some specific requirements and some concerns there that may be a little bit aside from other organizations. So if any of those sound of interest to you, thank you so much for posting those up in the links in the chat. And then finally, our yearly capstone, our very popular session, and it kind of actually acts as our roadmap in a lot of ways for the year that ends up following, is our governance trends to expect in 2025. So we've run this a couple of times now. We're doing a pretty good batting average, and by we I mean Deborah and David. Don't look at me for these things. But last year they pulled out AI, they pulled out a bunch of the stuff that we're seeing this year. And it really, it's a little peek at what's coming up. Gets you kind of helps end off the year that you're dealing with, but also lets you feel like you're ready for what's coming up in the following year. Now, that's a one-off. So that's just a single 90-minute session. You come in on that Friday. And I should note that all of these programs come with associated materials. There's always handouts, some worksheets, and a replay so that you can go back and visit it. Because sometimes, especially with trends, Deborah will say something brilliant about AI, but it's not relevant to you for another 2 months. But then suddenly you realize, oh, I should probably go back and review that. So be it, dealing with director roles in NFPs or whatever, you always have these materials available for a 3-year minimum to go back and review and just reflect on what you've learned. Okay, so those are the virtual opportunities for this fall, but we do actually have, for the first time since the great beast of COVID, some in-person offerings that we're doing on Public Sense. So that's also lovely. You may be familiar with our Art and Science of Being a Chair program. It's one of our most popular. Honing the message and direction of your next board meeting is just one piece of the puzzle. Are you equipped with the strategies needed to effectively deliver it to a board or committee with diverse learning styles, temperaments, and agendas? Learning to deal with different personality types is important for fostering a positive boardroom environment and for driving organizational success and growth. So that's usually we run this across a 4-week virtual program. We're going to do it all in one day, October 24th, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And it is if you've ever had the opportunity to experience it, it's a wonderful session. We bring in an actor and he role plays the various personalities. So Deborah and David or our faculty will be there teaching you sort of the tools and the practical skills. And then you get an opportunity to sort of bounce them off our actor Wolfgang. And he's been doing this for a number of years with us, and he just does a fantastic job. Now, if you are a bit more of a wallflower and you think this is very useful for you, but you don't necessarily want to be the guy in the hot seat, don't panic about that. We're more than happy to have people sit back and just watch. But it is a fantastic session. Now, if you've already taken that program or that just doesn't apply to you, on that same day, we will be running 2 half-day sessions as well. So know your roles. We have offered this in the past as a one-off session. It's becoming one of our more popular in-person training things, like we go around to organizations and deliver. As a board grows from operational to a higher level of governance, it can be easy to blur the lines between who does what. Often the best person for the job until then is down to who's willing and able. Or as an organization matures and succession needs make the line between board and management more porous, individuals may find themselves quite comfortable moving out of their role and across the line to undertake familiar but no longer befitting tasks. The need for clarity in the boardroom is why Know Your Roles has quickly become one of our most popular in-person training sessions. So again, that's in the morning of October 24th. That's 9 to noon. And then in the afternoon, something a little newer, measure what matters. So with increasing demand on boards to provide oversight in all areas of corporate performance and risk, many boards are finding themselves spending less and less time on strategy. Even when boards want strategic dialogue, most strategic plans lack robust measurement systems that would allow and lead to boards towards strategic conversations. Boards want and need clarity on their role and strategy in the strategic planning process. Beyond strategic thinking, boards need to engage with management on strategic planning. Strategic plans are central to giving organizational direction and one of the most important tools that boards can use to ensure alignment throughout the organization and operational systems. Done right, strategic planning involves input from this entire team, but who does what? So if you need some clarity around that, I believe that's our man Rob DeRoy delivering that one. And if you're familiar with our Tuesday sessions, he'll be there for that one. Okay. So sorry, that is our blitz. So that's in Mississauga, just to be clear. We'd love to see you in person, and you can find out more at governanceSolutions.ca/GTA. We hope you come. Now, we do have some canned sessions, and there's no way I can cover all of these things. I'm already talking fast enough to try to get through this, and there's no way. So I just want to highlight a few just so you know what we have to offer. But I am going to point out that after this session on Monday, you're going to receive an email with a brochure from Raphael, already shouted out by Paula. And that will include all of the slides, the links, everything. Like you're going to have all reference material. So if something does grab your interest, like I said, please reach out to Anna, but otherwise, don't panic. Everything will be provided at the end. So just to highlight a few of these really quick, we already talked a little bit about Know Your Roles. If you can't join us in Mississauga, we do have an online what we call a canned version, a pre-recorded version that is available there, so you can review that. Or if you are in the NFP space, you may be familiar that it's almost October. Anka is coming, so the Anka deadline date is right on our heels. If that if that rings a bell to you, then we have a session for you. Please check in there. It'll let you know what you need to know about making that transition. And then, as I already mentioned, this has been a big year for AI. So we have our AI in the boardroom catch up to keep up session. So it goes so far as to both provide a sort of a governance overview and what you need to be thinking about at that level in your organization, but also some practical tools and some takeaways, some things where you can actually apply AI today in your boardroom instead of having it be this sort of nebulous concept about something that's going to happen in the future. So there are a bunch of extra materials in there. I'd love to talk about all of them, but it's just not going to happen. Next up, we actually have some more freebies. So to lace in some freebies here, we have our free governance assessments. Another topic that I'm not going to be able to touch on every single item for, but I did want to highlight if you've been to these sessions before or if you've seen our assessments in the past, we do have a few new ones up. Board AI readiness assessment. So is your board ready for AI governance? Here's a quick way to check before you maybe look into that purchase of the AI session. We also have two new EDI evaluations in place, the EDI assessment baseline and EDI assessment board tool. So one's more organizational focused and the other one is specific to your board, but they're both fantastic to take on and just make sure that you're at the right level, you're in the right place. A number of other ones. Oh, and of course, I should mention the financial literacy assessment because it is kind of very helpful for those two sessions, the live sessions coming up. So again, all of these will be included in an email or the links are in the chat. So don't panic if you're missing some of these. Next up, to get a little more in depth with our assessments, we have the evaluation tools. Here we have a specialized evaluation suite that we've developed over several years in partnership with Sandbox Software. These are intended to cover your board chair, the big three committees, your committee chairs, your CEO, yourself, or your self and peer assessments. Now, the depth of your readiness to take on any of those assessments is, of course, something you know better than we do often. And Tan will speak to a moment about how we might customize these and take them to sort of the next level beyond that. But as your local IT guy, of course, this is one of my favorites. So I just wanted to mention a few little details about it. It's a 4-screen process to get any of these set up and out the door. It's not an overwhelming thing. We tried to make it as simple and straightforward as possible for whoever's, both for the people who are taking it and the people who have to administer it. Reports are generated automatically at the end when you hit close and you hit send email. And it ensures only the right people get it. So you do in that process set up exactly who's going to receive what evaluations. And if you're doing, say, appear in self, only each individual will see the results that pertain to them. So yeah, it's a lovely tool. If you have a good process in place and you just want to keep using this best practice tool, this is a great way to move forward. The nice thing is you'll see, as I mentioned, things like BoardConnex. We use this tool sometimes with clients. We offer it for sale on our website, and we also include it in our board portal package, BoardConnex. And something we're able to do that a lot of our competitors are not is roll up our peer data so that you really get a sense of where you are. If your risk management score is like a 3.5, that can look like a red alert, but if you see that all peers across the board are at a 3.2, then you realize you're a little better off. So even when Tan and the team aren't coming alongside to support you, we're trying to give you all the tools you can to make sure you have a good sense of where you are. But with that in mind, I think Tan is going to talk a little bit about consulting.
Absolutely. I'm going to build on that, Jake. I'm going to talk about what you mentioned about the assessment tools and how we can really build on that. So all of these tools that Jake has mentioned, the evaluation, the CEO, even our culture tools, they end up giving you a really detailed report. And there's a lot of insight there on your board or your CEO. But sometimes that level of insight can be hard to handle. It just feels like this massive data dump, and you're wondering, how do I share this? How do I figure out what it means? And how do I figure out what I need to fix? Well, we can help with that. We have a number of clients that use the online assessment tools. They self-administer the evaluations, but then they share those reports with us. And we give our value-added analysis and make sense of the data. We interpret the results and we develop recommendations as to where you go from here. So, sometimes just having that third eye looking at it, and we can even deliver it for you. Having a third person deliver the results is often even better. We can do that for you. So that's one of the options. Use our online tools. We'll give you the consulting add-on. Because sometimes you need more than can be offered in a group setting, and you may have a challenge or an opportunity that really needs a deep dive, and we can do the customized analysis before you move forward. You've got in front of you our governance consulting, all the things that we offer. I'm not going to go through it all because we're touched for time, but I'm going to highlight a few things. We are really best known for coming along organizations and offering expert advice. The biggest one of these are governance audits and best practice reviews. We have an incredible toolkit that we can pull from to put together a solution just for you. We have a number of diagnostic streams that we gather data from. We will review your governance processes and practices through the lens of our proprietary best practices framework. We have a governance index that we can assess how you compare to others in your sector. We'll do interviews. We have online survey tools that will really assess any gaps, any strengths that you have, and opportunities to improve. And we roll that all up into a clear, easy to understand report with actionable recommendations. You can stop there, or we can help you build consensus on where to go from here. We can even help you on the implementation side. So if a governance review or an audit is in your future, talk to us. Tell us what you need, and we'll see what kind of a solution we can put together for you. We've talked about the online evaluation tools, but we can also totally customize that to you. So as I said, if you've got a specialized challenge or something you really want to focus in on, we can take our survey tools and adjust it to your needs. Again, whether that's your board, whether that's your CEO, whether you want to look at culture, we can help you out with all of that. Strategic planning. This is, again, something that we do. We can help you by doing a SWOT analysis, identifying your risks. We can develop a scorecard for you, basically come along wherever you are on your strategic planning process, whether you're refreshing it or whether you're building from scratch, we can help you. Board profiling. So what skills and competencies do you need on your board? What do you currently have? How do you inventory that to identify where you need to recruit? We can help. We can also build coaching programs, whether it's for your CEO or your executive director or your board chair. We put together personalized programs to work on your strengths and the opportunities that you've identified. And lastly, I'll just quickly go through the right side of the screen. We have a number of public programs that Jake has mentioned. We can also deliver those specifically for your organization. So from the one-offs like AI in the boardroom up to our certificate programs or our boot camp. These can be tailored specifically for you, your sector, your organization to focus on challenges or to focus on just team building and developing the competencies together. That also includes, which Jake is going to talk about in a minute, our professional director designation program. We can deliver that customized to you. We can use your strategic plan, your financial statements, and build up the capacity of your organization together to succeed in the future. So if you come away with one message today, I hope it's that we're here to help. Don't be afraid to ask your questions. I guarantee we've heard them before, and chances are we have a solution that can help.
Excellent. Thank you, Tan. Yeah, I am going to talk a little bit about ProDer because I think to some extent, at least on the education side of things, it's the jewel in the crown, right? It's sort of the apex of the wisdom mountain in that sense. We do have an upcoming cohort happening this fall. But we also, okay, so the in-person cohort has been modified slightly from our previous offering so that it is now offered across 7 sessions every second week. So in that short time, you're going to come away with your certification, your professional designation, and you're going to feel confident in your understanding, your complete and robust understanding of the governance in the boardroom. Now, that said, while this is a great program and it is a lovely opportunity every time we run this, and we may even have a couple ProDer grads, I think we do in the chat, you come away with sort of a group of friends, a network, people that you can bounce off of. One of the requests that we almost get every cohort is here's an exchange of information. Oh, not quite yet, but sorry. Here's an exchange of email addresses. You stay in touch, you make new friends, and you sort of keep that that network going forward because these are professionals also at your level that you can be bouncing ideas. This happened in my boardroom. What would you do in yours? Now that said, not everybody has the flexibility in their schedule to be able to complete it on that routine. Oh, thank you so much, James. Yes, excellent. Yeah, I should have thought. Yes, absolutely. One of our alumni in the crowd. So if you don't have the flexibility, however, we do offer a self-paced option. It's a little sad that you don't get to see everybody, but at the same time, you have 3 full years to complete the program. We have some folks that basically do 1 or 2 modules a summer, and then they come out the far side a ProDer, just as everybody else who does it. So more recommendations in the chat. Thank you so much, Paula. That said, if you're interested, we do have a free trial that you can take on. It's just the first slice of the first module. So you're going to learn a little bit about principal agent theory. You're going to learn a little bit about the foundations of governance. But of course, it moves through the full arc. So you're going to start with, what is governance and why is the system in place, and move through finances and culture and, HR management, everything that you're going to need to know from the governance perspective. So all of the links in the chat there, but I am very short on time. So I am now going to, as Yvette was suggesting, move on to BoardConnex. So this is our board portal offering. You're probably familiar with some of the competitors, so I won't go into the basics because everyone, everyone knows this is where you're getting your board meeting packages. Some of the extras that we offer on top of that include the evaluation tools that we've already mentioned. So if you sign up for BoardConnex, you're going to have included within that our evaluation tool suite. It's going to allow you to run everything through your board portal, nice, safe, and secure. Also in partnership with our friend Sandbox in Guelph. So just if it's important to your organization to know, many of our competitors, they're housed in the States, they're out of the States, and your data, when it's sent to them, is sent over the border and back again. One of the nice advantages we have is that all of our data servers are hosted in Montreal with a redundancy just outside of Montreal. So you're never going over the border. Everything is secure, but also, on this side. We do offer an onboarding process. So rather than just leaving you to jump into the deep end and populate your portal, if you are interested, what we do is we provide a checklist and we sort of say, here, what are your brand colors? What is your board structure? What committees do you have in place? Do you want to include your strategic plans, et cetera, et cetera? And there's a process in which we take in your documents, the developers put them all in place, and on day one, when you're ready to launch, everything's right there, ready to go. You're not left trying to figure it out for yourself. And as some of you may already be aware, I'm always right at the other end of my email address. I'm always there to help if you need something, and I'm willing to jump in and just get that sorted out for you immediately, which is not the kind of service you're going to receive from some of our competitors. So we do offer, if that's of interest to you, we offer a demo and a free trial. So to differentiate, I could come in and deliver, or one of our people will come in and deliver sort of a half hour, 60-minute session, depending on how many questions you have, just sort of outlining the various features and walking you through each of the areas of the portal. Or if you think you're ready to take it up a step, we do offer a 90-day trial. So that's no obligation. You basically do a truncated version of the onboarding checklist. So again, you're not just jumping into the end of the pool, but it's not going to be the full thing. And if you do sign on, of course, we'll come in and meet the gap there. But again, it's going to be a usable portal that you can sign into and get a sense of what you're doing and if it's the right fit for your organization. So links in the chat, please do check that out. Next up, we have the governance community. So we've already mentioned the freebies. This is one of the places that they land after they're complete, but there's so much more going on here. It's got a complete newsletter archive. The consultants and Proter faculty are constantly providing curated readings. So there's new updates. There's something, a best practice change, or just something in the news that's relevant, or a legislative change. They're going to have something in there to reflect that, or if there's just some new areas of thinking, maybe we're taking whistleblower policies in a different direction. There may be some interesting reading there on that, etc. Of note, the corporate level membership also includes a 25% discount in attendance for all of the Governance Solutions certificate and non-certificate programs. So all of those I mentioned off the top and everything we'll be offering on our slate next year, you could be saving it basically pays for itself quite quickly if you're going to be pushing some people through there up the financial ladder, say for example, and you want to make sure that you're making the most out of your education buck. Now, I mentioned the free newsletter. I just want to flag as another freebie that we do have a newsletter that we put out monthly, usually on some sort of pressing and relevant topic at the time. So stay up to date with the latest insights, governance news, and best practices. And uh, you can sign up for that at the bottom of every single governancesolutions.ca page. Note the way my tone changed there for a moment. So let's go over to books. Now, and teased at the top, we've got a new book coming out, Board Ready, sort of front and foremost there. Um, I think the title to some extent explains it all, but really you're thinking about getting on a new board, you're thinking of becoming a new board member, this book is for you. Discover how to uncover and understand what boards really want and need, network your way into the boardroom, make an impression and connection, and ace the interview to win that coveted board seat. So it's a fantastic bit of work by Dr. Deborah Brown and David, our fearless leaders. And of course, you can find everything that we offer over at Amazon, but let's make sure that we close with another book giveaway. So here we go in the chat. You got your chats up, your fingers ready. Let us know where you should go if you want to sign up for the newsletter. Where would you go to sign up? Oh, yeah, I think you guys were probably ahead of me. I think I gave too much of a hint there. Lisa, yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. And exactly so. I hope you guys all follow through on that. But like I said, all of our books up over at Amazon.ca, and wow, we're a minute over time. I can't believe we made it in time. So Tan and I will stick around if you guys have any questions. But in the meantime, let's just close out on a quote from our fearless leader. Oh, maybe half of pulled out the quote. Okay. There we go. Orientation is a journey. It's not an event, by Dr. Deborah Brown. So thank you all so much for being here today. Like I said, we will hang around and answer any questions you might have real quick. But we really appreciate you taking the time. And we hope to see you actually at our next Tuesday freebie. Thanks all.